There's a neighborhood in Kansas City where you need sponsors just to buy a house. I'm not kidding, you can't move in without the right connections. I found out that the city's wealthiest don't just buy expensive homes, they live behind barriers that money alone can't cross. But here's the twist: one of these neighborhoods gives you $1 million luxury at almost half the price of its rivals. Hey guys, it's Kelsea with Lakewood Homes and Land, and today I'll show you where Kansas City's business leaders, pro athletes, and old money families really live. And we're starting with a spot that delivers $1 million luxury for almost half the cost of its southern rivals. That's Briarcliff West, and you're about to see why it's becoming a favorite for smart luxury buyers. Briarcliff West sits up on the Missouri River bluffs, and honestly, very few KC neighborhoods can beat these views. Imagine rolling out of bed and seeing the whole downtown skyline every morning. Not bad, right? Most homes here run between $555,000 and $1.2 million, with custom estates topping that number. But here's the wild part: you're only paying around $215 to $240 per square foot. That's a steal compared to what we'll see in other luxury areas. And later, you'll see a neighborhood where the same square footage costs almost twice as much, over $400 a foot. Both get called luxury, but the price gap is massive. Take this for example. In June, a gorgeous place at 4523 North Mulberry Drive sold for $1.195 million. The buyers got almost 7,000 square feet. That is massive. Most homes here start around 3,000 square feet and go all the way past 7,000. You'll see a mix of sleek modern styles and Mediterranean vibes. What really makes Briarcliff different is the type of buyer it attracts. These folks want the full luxury setup: saltwater pools, gyms in their own homes, even private theaters. But they're sharp enough to know their dollar stretches way further up north. Now, homes at the top end usually stay on the market 30 to 110 days. That's longer than other luxury spots, which means here, buyers can actually take a breath and think instead of diving into crazy bidding wars. But wait until you see what $2.5 million buys in our next stop. Trust me, it's not even close. When we get to Leawood, Kansas, you'll see how KC's business leaders are building their family legacies in a whole different style of luxury. I spend a lot of time researching these hidden luxury spots. I do this so you don't have to drive around for days trying to find the best deals in KC. If you're finding this helpful, go ahead and hit the subscribe button right now. I post new market breakdowns every week, showing you the neighborhoods that most people in Kansas City never hear about. Now, let's head south to Leawood. This is where Kansas City's business leaders are building homes designed to stay in the family for generations. Leawood nails that mix of high-end luxury and everyday family living. Let's talk numbers. The average home price in Leawood runs about $710,000 to $810,000, but once you step into the luxury new builds, you're talking $1.8 to $2.1 million easily. And if you're looking in the hills of Leawood, that's where you'll find some of the most stunning custom homes in the whole metro. Here's the real driver: schools. Leawood is in the Blue Valley School District, and that name carries serious weight. It's nationally ranked, and families pay a premium to be in it. And stick with me, because later on you'll see a neighborhood where this same modern luxury pairs with country club living that costs more per year than a lot of people's entire mortgage. Nuts. Price per square footage here jumps to $270 to $300 on the high-end builds. And eMetropolitan.com projects 3 to 6% appreciation each year. That's steady growth that buyers can bank on. Most luxury buyers want size, and Leawood delivers, with homes typically ranging between 4,000 to over 7,100 square feet. Think modern homes with pools, outdoor kitchens, and big entertaining spaces. Plus, Johnson County brings in tax perks and governance that wealthy buyers actually look for. But if $2 million sounds steep, hold on. Next up, we're heading to a neighborhood where history and prestige collide. Ward Parkway, one of my personal favorites. And once you see it, you'll get why it's called one of America's 10 great streets. Ward Parkway is where Kansas City's history and luxury meet. It's a street so iconic that it's been named one of America's greatest boulevards. Most homes in the general neighborhoods run $385,000 to $425,000, but along Ward Parkway itself, the mansions range from $1.5 to almost $4 million. In fact, a condo at 433 Ward Parkway sold for $3.95 million just this year. What sets Ward Parkway apart is its history. This was part of J.C. Nichols's original plan for Kansas City. The Meyer Circle Seahorse Fountain and the Mirror Pool Fountain are landmarks here. They've been shaping this boulevard for generations. Ward Parkway has a twin of sorts that we'll talk about later. Both came out of J.C. Nichols's vision, but that other community takes exclusivity to another level, with household incomes topping $350,000 a year and social barriers that go way beyond money. The numbers here tell their own story. Within a 1-mile radius of Ward Parkway, the average household income jumps to about $180,000 a year. It really is a different world, and the competition, it's intense. The median days on market is just 7. If you see a home you love on Ward Parkway, you need to be ready to move fast. The history runs deep here too. Driving down this boulevard, you're passing the Tom Pendergrast house, the Charles S. Keith house, and J.C. Nichols's former home. These homes stand as living pieces in Kansas City history, but Ward Parkway is only the beginning of KC's most prestigious district. Now, this is where Kansas City's old money has lived for generations. Sunset Hill and the Country Club District blend historic charm with modern luxury, and the vibe here is like nothing else in the city. Homes in Sunset Hill usually run just above the $1 million mark, but in the luxury tier, you'll see plenty that pass the $2 million mark. Just this year, a gorgeous 7,200 square foot home at 1055 West 54th Street sold for $3.95 million. Price per square foot sits between $330 and $380, which is up more than 15% from last year. So yes, this area keeps climbing, and keep this in mind because later we'll look at a neighborhood that flips the script. While Sunset Hill is all about historic homes from the early 1900s, this other community showcases modern luxury built on the Hallmark founder's family estate. Two very different takes on Kansas City prestige. But back to Sunset Hill for a second. What makes this area so unique is its role in Kansas City's history. It's part of the largest master plan community in the entire country, built by a single developer. J.C. Nichols shaped this neighborhood, and in the process, he set the blueprint for how communities were built across America. And the location, it doesn't get better. You're walking distance from the Country Club Plaza, Casey's top luxury shopping spot. Plus, you've got the Nelson Atkins Museum, the Kemper Museum, and Luce Park all right there. Homes here usually sit on the market about 70 days, and buyers in this area are selective. They're holding out for the perfect historic property, not just jumping on whatever pops up. You'll find Prairie, Tudor, and Mediterranean revival styles, many with gardens that families have kept up for generations. It really does feel like stepping back in time, only with all the modern comforts. This historic elegance is hard to beat, but next we'll look at something completely different. Hallbrook Farms is where new money builds modern estates that feel more like five-star resorts. The contrast between old and new luxury here in Kansas City is something you'll want to see. Think of a neighborhood where modern luxury and country club living come together. That's Hallbrook Farms. It sits on the Hallmark founder's old family farm and was designed as a full luxury lifestyle community. The median sales price here is about $2.45 million, and plenty of homes push past $2.85. I saw one at 2608 West 118th Street with more than 7,000 square feet of pure luxury. On average here, you're looking at about $365 a square foot, and that higher price reflects everything that comes with living here. In just a bit, we'll look at another spot that takes exclusivity even higher. Hallbrook gives you all the modern amenities. The next place adds something you can't put a price on: old money ties and social connections that go back generations. Membership starts with a $28,000 initiation fee and runs about $911 a month. But you're not just paying for golf. You're getting a Tom Fazio championship course, a 47,000 square foot clubhouse, and several dining options. It feels more like a private resort than a neighborhood club. Homes usually sell in about 18 to 30 days. Sizes range from 4,500 to over 9,000 square feet, with French country and modern estates as the main look. The people here are just as notable as the houses: young executives, pro athletes, and longtime business families. Privacy is everything, and the gated setup with security patrols make sure of that. Hallbrook is impressive, no question, but there's one neighborhood that takes exclusivity to a whole nother level. Up next is Mission Hills, the crown jewel of Kansas City's luxury, where it takes a lot more than money to get in. Welcome to the most exclusive address in Kansas City. Mission Hills goes beyond pricey homes. It carries a level of prestige and social connection you simply can't buy. This little city has only about 3,500 residents, but it sits at the very top of KC living. The median household income here is over $350,000, and that's just the baseline. Home prices run between $1.57 million and $2.1 million, with some estates hitting $4.95 million. One of those was a 9,700 square foot property at 800 West 52nd Street that sold for the full $4.95 million. But here's the thing, it's not only about the homes, it's about who you're connected with. The Kansas City Country Club is the most exclusive membership in town. You can't just write a check and join, you need sponsors, and not everyone gets in. What's even crazier is how fast homes here move. The median time on market is only 13 days, which is 87% faster than last year. And on top of that, home values are climbing, up 7.2% in a single year. The resident list reads like a who's who of Kansas City. About 87% have at least a bachelor's degree. The median age is just over 50, and names like George Brett, Tom Watson, and Donald J. Hall Sr. have all called this place home. Mission Hills is more than Kansas City's most expensive neighborhood. It's where the city's power and legacy families have lived for over a century. That mix of history, wealth, and connections is what keeps it on top. So there you have it. We went from Briarcliff West, where you can stretch your dollar in style, all the way to Mission Hills, where old money prestige runs deep. At the end of the day, whether you're after modern perks, historic charm, or those hard-to-get social circles, Kansas City's got a neighborhood that fits exactly what you're looking for. If you're thinking about buying or selling in Kansas City, just shoot me an email at Kelsea@lakewoodhomesandland.com. I'll get back to you with some thoughts that fit your needs. The market here moves fast, and timing is key. I know these neighborhoods inside and out, and I can help you land the right place for your lifestyle and budget. Before you go, click the video on your screen. It takes you inside Kansas City's most exclusive hidden neighborhood, where homes sell for close to $4 million. The wealth strategies in this neighborhood will change the way you think about luxury real estate in Kansas City. Have a great week.